G'day everyone, it's Chris and Sam here. This is your roundup of what's been happening in real estate over the past week. So Sam, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so we've just ticked over to May, so we've got the latest data from realestate.co.nz on their listings. So for that month, there were almost 36,000 homes for sale across New Zealand, which was up 6.2% year on year. So kind of still continuing the high stock level theme, giving buyers more choice right now.
Yeah, and that big headwind into the market, right? And that's still up around those like decade highs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, cool. And so off the back of that, Sam, you've actually gone for our network and surveyed a bunch of our agents just to get a bit more sort of insight into what that supply of homes is and what's actually causing it. So, mate, do you want to tell us a little bit about what we found out over the past week?
Yeah, so kind of some early results of what our agents are reporting. So we first asked if they are kind of sensing that number of homes for sale in their local market is higher than normal.
Yep.
Kind of whether what they're experiencing is in line with the data.
Yep.
And about 75% of them agreed. So I guess there are still some markets where the agents are perceiving normal levels or not too high.
Yep.
So kind of depends on the market.
And you asked a little bit about the types of homes that are on market?
Yeah, so these tended to be mainly standalone homes rather than kind of townhouses, apartments or new builds.
Yep.
And mainly in the higher, average to higher price range.
Which is really interesting itself, right? Because I think there's a perception that a lot of the extra supply is maybe small terraced houses or something
Yeah,
like
or like
that.
there's an oversupply of townhouses, but maybe they are actually priced right, so they do move.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that there was a bit of regional variation by that, Like, so some regions were reporting a bit more like terraced housing, but then a lot of other regions were reporting standalone homes.
Yeah, and maybe homes that are in a certain price bracket, which tended to be kind of upper mill range.
Yep. It's really interesting. And then you dug into a little bit around how vendors and buyers are responding to the situation because I guess on paper, if you chuck your like economics hat on, it's cool, prices will just adjust and life kind of goes on and it will clear it. But what are we actually seeing on the ground?
Yeah, so we kind of asked how our agents are perceiving vendors responding to the higher supply on market. And about half the agents said that their vendors are still holding out for a higher price. And I guess that could be kind of a core reason why a lot of properties are staying on the market.
Yep.
And it tends to be that the vendors that are willing to meet the market tend to be more successful.
Yep. And that makes sense, right? Like if the price is too high, like I guess the physical stock to one side, you've also got the vendor situation and if their price expectations are just too high, then they're just not going to sell quickly. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess when we asked on the flip side how are buyers responding, a lot of them are slower to make decisions in this environment and get a bit more fussy about the homes when they've got more options laid out for them.
Yep.
And quite a few are making offers that are lower than what's expected as well.
Yeah. So sort of classic buyer behaviour, but it does also reinforce that importance of good marketing and also just preparing your home for sale if you want to chuck it on market, like dealing with all the super competitive is really the key there. Well, that's really interesting. So we might have a few more results in the next week once we've dug into that a little bit harder. Next up though, we've got the sales snapshot for the week. So a couple of recent auction sales, and so Sam, what's our theme this week?
Our theme is homes with pools, actually.
Okay, yeah, sweet, just in time for the rain.
Yeah.
But no, cool. Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so the first property is in Hamilton at 5 Marnane Terrace in St Andrews. Ultimate family oasis, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms on about 980 square metres in a sought-after cul-de-sac, warm, welcoming family home with that resort-style in-ground pool. This one was marketed by Amanda Merrington from Bayleys, Cambridge and sold under the hammer for 1.085 mil.
Yeah, cool. And then I'm over in Herne Bay in Auckland. So this is 18 Masons Avenue in Herne Bay, contemporary Herne Bay haven, 5 beds, 2 baths on 556 square metres, 3 luxuriously crafted levels, views of the Harbour Bridge and Sky Tower, evergreen lawn and a statement swimming pool, which is just amazing. This was marketed by Edward Pack, sold under the hammer at auction for 6.5 million. So yeah, really cool homes there.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool. Next up, a little bit of international news. So over the past week, The Economist actually put out a really interesting article looking at which countries are working from home the most. And this was based on a study by Stanford University of 16,000 graduates looking across 40 countries. And what they found through this was that the average respondent was working from home 1.3 days a week, so just over like one day, which is pretty similar to what was the case in 2023. So there has actually been a massive change on that. If you looked at New Zealand, so we were sitting bang on the average at 1.3 days, Australia 1.2, so slightly more time in the office. Yeah, and so they actually found that the countries with the highest amount of working from home were Canada, UK and the USA, between 1.6 and 1.9, so more close to like 2 days a week. And they also noticed a sort of in a separate study, a significant rise in golf course visits during the work week, which they just sort of contrasted in there.
Yeah. Definitely have a bit more time to run some errands and stuff. Yeah, and quite interesting because I guess this round of graduates would have gone through like their university studies during like the pandemic, so they would have had quite a bit of time at home.
Yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, and it's interesting to see that hasn't really changed too much because you would have thought for graduates, if companies were making wholesale changes around pushing people back to the office, they'd probably have the most leverage on the more junior staff to be able to do that. So, yeah, just got a good little article. Finally, to wrap up, we've got Property of the Week. So, Sam, do you want to kick us off on Waiheke Island?
Yeah, so I've got a listing for 72 on the Esplanade. Prize Peninsula property, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms on 1,200 square metres. Seamless indoor-outdoor flow, entertaining zones and captivating views. If you're interested in this property, you can get in touch with Jacob Heatley-Adams from Bayleys, Waiheke.
Yeah, cool. And then for me, I've got 302 bar 15B Augustus Terrace in Parnell in Auckland. Elevated masterpiece, 3 beds, 3 baths, sub-penthouse in the boutique Ford Residences. High-spec city fringe retreat designed by Patterson Associates. Got views of Rangitoto and beyond. I've actually been in that property and it's really amazing.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah, so if you want to learn more about this one, contact Fleur Denning from Bayleys Remuera. With that said, we'll wrap it up here. So thanks very much, Sam.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
Sweet. And we'll see you next week. Ciao.
Yeah.